Hello, testing, testing, one, two, three. I just got this new microphone, but so far I'm really happy. So, how are you? I know I've been missing. I was busy with a filming project, and I think this year is like the year of documentaries. This is my second documentary, although it's like a docu-series divided into four episodes. And filming's been hectic and crazy that one day we shot for 15 hours and then only had time to sleep for like 5 hours before we had to continue filming. It was insane, and I'm still recovering from a mild cold. Oh, ita ko macam malas kan podcast pasalnya menyuruh-nyuruh ingo seni macam dia juga bisa kalau didengarkan. The past week, actually the past 2 weeks, I've been working closely with relatable and Hoko Agency on producing a docu series, like I've mentioned before. So a docu series, 4 parts and 2 awareness videos. So in total, that's like what, 6 videos, and we only have about 1 week to film, and that's multiple locations, working with a ton of talents. And I remember one time I was super stressed because there was so much shit to do that I just could not help but complain. And I forgot for 1 second that this life that I'm living is what I prayed for. Like, I just want to be on set every single day, and I think I manifested it too hard that it actually is becoming a reality. And so I forgot about that because I was caught in the whole of like um whirlwind of filming nonstop, and then I guess the exhaustion also played a part in making me feel like, oh my god, I need a fucking break. I'm just so done. Yeah, I was just complaining to myself. I didn't exactly say anything to anybody, but I'm pretty sure like sometimes when I think I am thinking it, I'm actually voicing it out. Like, I think out loud. That's like a bad habit of mine. Complaining is also has also been associated with like negativity. Yes, of course, it's not nice to complain. It's not nice to whine. It's not nice to like bitch constantly. But having reflected on the moment that made me complain, I feel like it actually is not so bad after all. It has its pros when it comes to complaining. Like, there are good things that come out of complaining, I feel like. So the act of complaining is when you are voicing out your dissatisfaction for something. My phone. Hold on. My mom just sent me a message. Oh my god, my nephew Zubair knows how to say his parents' names. He's so adorable. I miss him. He's just next door, but anyway. Yeah, so when you're unhappy with something, when you're frustrated about something, you complain, right? And for me, complaining can actually be an act of self-awareness. It just means that you've probably pushed yourself to the limit, or you probably realize that you're treated badly, that you voice it out, you know? If something you feel is unfair, you complain, and it can lead to awareness. But because we're just so used to saying it and not doing anything about it, that's when it turns to something bad. Because complaining can also affect your mindset, and you won't be able to help but feel negative emotions. You're so frustrated that you're just so done with life. And I honestly personally think like complaining can lead to depression if you don't manage it well. And not that I'm condemning people who always complain, because I feel like I am the king of complainers. I get it from my mom. Honestly, wherever she goes, she always has something to say about it, and it's so ironic because she always calls me out for complaining, but she does the exact same thing. But anyway, not that I'm condemning people who complain. I just feel like sometimes they're doing it because they're so used to it. It's a habit to them. So, yeah. And I think sometimes people who complain, they just want to have a say about something. They don't necessarily want to change what they're complaining about or want to do anything about what they're complaining. They are just voicing it out. So that's that. And another good thing about complaining is that if you complain something to another person, that person might not even think about what you complained to them about in the first place. So it can also make other people realize that actually, okay, there is some truth to what you're complaining about. But like, as long as you don't try to drag them down into like your pity party, and it's fine. So maybe once you're complaining about something legit, you both can like form a party and like actually figure out a solution on how to improve things or the situation that you're complaining about. For example, maybe your boss is giving you too much work. So you're complaining to your colleague, and maybe your boss isn't giving him too much work. So maybe then they'll realize like, "Oh my God." Like maybe you can start sharing the load with him. Or if you both are overworked, then maybe it can prompt you to have a conversation with either HR or your supervisor or even your boss saying like, "Hey, we feel like there's too much. Maybe can we add a third person in the company or another staff to help us with the load?" But that rarely happens. It's so rare that employees talk to their boss and ask for like an extra headcount because it's also so rare that bosses listen to their employees. That's just a fact of life. I just got back from editing, by the way. I need to take off my socks because I'm actually in bed and it's really disgusting of me to do this. But bro, I just got so excited about this new mic that I just want to use it. Taros. Yeah, so back to the topic about, complaining, right? Um, Complaining can also make you realize that you might be doing too much for yourself and that you need to take a break and rest. So I guess that's when my scenario came in. Like, we were doing so much with so little time that I started to feel burnt out. Lo and behold, I got sick. But I also think that the reason why I got sick was because my allergies were activated. I am actually allergic to cats. As much as I love cats, I'm funnily enough allergic to cats. It's so weird. We were filming at Batches. We didn't even stay there for long. After that, I couldn't help but let the cat like sleep on me and like just chill. My eyes got watery and my nose was stuck. Macam taros jadi damam lah. And then it was so hard. It was really, really hard to be sick and filming at the same time. So I was like, oh my God. I just was complaining in my head. And then when the producer, which is my colleague, Zati, told me that our call time was at like 7 or 8. Basically, yeah, like super early. I was like, oh my God, can it be any earlier? Back tas bang subuh sama-sama lang call time ato. I just said something like that to her, and I realized like, oh my God, like, easy, chill. But I don't want to advocate for toxic positivity. I do believe that sometimes you can be negative because you just need to be. You don't have to be on every single time. If you've seen Soul, you understand that you need to experience both negative and positive emotions because it helps shape who you are, and it's just such a good form of awareness, I feel like. So complaining about that made me realize a couple of things. One, I might be ungrateful about all of this. Two, I feel burnt out. Three, I need to take a chill pill. So, in that scenario, complaining was actually a good thing for me because now I know, like, okay, next time I need to take it easy. Like, filming is like this project, it's not like my first rodeo. I've been in worse situations where I had to like wake up early for like a whole week for a really tough shoot. I think it was just that I was not feeling well, that it got the best of me, you know. But even then I was also complaining. So that's complaining about like random stuff, right? Especially about work. Let's say if you start complaining about a friend or a person that turns into gossip, or it turns into like a bitching session to your friends, that should already be a huge sign that you don't enjoy spending time with that person, and you should probably like start cutting them off, because it's not good to like continuously complain or bitch about a person. It's not healthy. I am guilty of this. Me and some of my friends, we talk about this one particular person because he is just, whew, a piece of work. I'm just glad that I'm not in the same hemisphere as that person anymore, even though sometimes when I get updates from a friend who still sees him, it just reminds me like, okay, I'm glad that I'm not dealing with that person anymore or whatever. I do see that person every now and then. We're civil, we're okay. But when I hear about the things that he does, I'm just like, oh, gila eh. Yeah. But when I was like working directly with that person, I could not stop complaining about him, and it just became so toxic. So that's when I know that, okay, I either need to do something about this, or I can keep complaining and like let him ruin my life. Not that he was ruining my life directly, but the things that he did definitely affect the people around him, especially those who were like working closely to him. I hope, okay, so also disclaimer, me sharing this story is strictly to use as an example. I am not trying to like call out anybody or like trying to hint or make people guess who I'm talking about. I honestly don't care anymore because I'm out of that situation. I'm happy now, but I just want to use that example where I was consistently complaining about a single person. Like, how did I let myself complain about a single person for that long? At the time, I probably think that I didn't have a choice. And maybe I really didn't have a choice because the things that I did included that person, right? So I guess sometimes you just have to wait it out and just let life take you away from people or things that are not good for you. So that's where I'm at now. Okay, so this is what I want to ask you. Do you enjoy complaining to other people, or do you enjoy complaining to yourself? For me, I sometimes, you know what's so funny about like complaining? Sometimes I complain. I don't know if this is just me, but sometimes I complain loudly to show people that I am struggling with something so that I may seem relatable, but in fact, I'm actually not struggling. Is that toxic? Is that weird? Because I realized that yesterday I was editing, and I literally was editing the entire day. And there are times when I was genuinely mangusut because, oh my God, editing is not easy, but I love it so much. It's the good kind of mangusut. You know, as much as I was super stressed about editing like a particular footage, I was having so much fun. When like one of the editors came in the editing room and were like was checking on me, I was like, oh gila eh, this person, like it's so hard, like blah 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 to cut his footage, blah 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 blah. And then like they offer some like you know, they sympathize and shit like that. But like when he walked out of the room, and I'm like, wait, why did I just perform all of that? And I was a good performer. So I acted like I was struggling when in fact maybe I was struggling, but not as like how I portrayed it to be. Like I was like struggling but internally and just like chill. So I think like complaining is just part of like human nature. You can either let it play to your advantage or you can just complain for fun. I don't know. To each their own. The act of complaining is actually something really interesting, and I've always wanted to talk about it. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I was so excited to record before Wednesday, but I was just so busy, and I'm just so happy now that I get to record it. Like last minute like ito, I literally was just gonna test out this mic. I'm not even sure if the audio is gonna come out nice. If this mic ends up to be amazing, I'm gonna get another one so that I can start having guests and like have interviews. Woo. But yeah, I hope you guys have been well. Thank you so much for the warm reception for the previous episode, The Art of Being Single. I know I spoke about it briefly, and I do want to get deep into it because the listener who asked me to share my experience as the only single person in a friend group wanted me to talk about how is it like being single in your 30s. And I can understand that being single in your 30s feel like ugh, I wouldn't say like the end of the world. At least for me, I don't feel like it's the end of the world because I still have a lot of things that I want to achieve. But when it comes to like society's timeline, it is such a big pressure if you're still single. Whew. So I do want to talk about it at some point. I just try to avoid talking about a topic of the same nature continuously. So it's good to have like variety. So I'll get back to that in the near future. That's all I have for today. I think I need to jump into the shower. Thank you so much for keeping me company, and I hope you enjoy my company. I can't wait to talk to you again soon. So, thank you so much for listening. This has been Izzy Does It with me, Iskandar Karim. Assalamualaikum. Bye.